when you eat something, you go to the bowel movement and observe. If you find yourself wiping a bunch and there's all this residue,
Mm,
you've been eating mucus forming foods and you
mm,
need to probably clean yourself out because we're not supposed to
mm,
have that.
mm,
And enough of that stuff builds up over time. And here we go with all the influx of colon cancers, the influx of different tumors, and all these kinds of things. It's not a coincidence. It's not a mystery. Look no further than what people are eating, what people are
mm,
putting in their body, and mystery is solved. We just solved it right here today on this podcast. We
mm,
solved the mystery.
mm.
All this
And I think,
disease.
and it was even resolved by, I think, was it Hippocrates? Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. What
Yeah.
Spira was just saying is literally that. That if it's clean as it comes out, it cannot have a negative effect. It cannot stagnate and slow down. And I remember in Dr. Morse's coursework, he was showing that. He said the exact same thing you said. You observe your stools straight away. We have the tongue as well, the reflection of the gut, how your tongue
The
looks. Chinese
tongue.
medicine
Yeah.
uses
The
it.
urine. The
You, the
urine.
urine. We have these just very easy to understand, easy to see. And that's the thing, as he's mentioned before, two sides of chemistry. We got blood feeds cells, lymph cleans it away, it takes away the waste. And then you've got the electrical department. That's the energy. We've got adrenal glands for that. Very simple stuff when you really start to get down to it. What the challenge is dealing with someone's mind that thinks that it should be more complicated than it is. As you
Right.
said, well, what about B12? What about this? What about the fact that none of that actually really matters? We've got to see how these things eliminate. And people that think they have one or two bowel movements a day, they think, well, I eat the steak, I eat the sandwiches, I eat the dairy coffees, blah, 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 and I still have these bowel movements thinking that they are eliminating everything they are consuming. Well, a great test for that is just go and pop yourself on a little a juice cleanse, transition your way in, and have a look what happens. You're going to have bowel movements beyond the consumption of food because there's still waste in the gut that needs to come out. And that's further down the line, people that have experienced that, they can testify, me being one of them, you're likely one of them as well, where you see the very nature that your body has been in. And just a little connection back to a lot of people use religious justification now along with this carnivore thing. And you mentioned something before about body, mind, and spirit. And I took a note of this, and it's really important that if people are followers of Jesus, for example, he spoke of the threefold peace. And the threefold peace is pretty detailed in the Essene Gospel of Peace, but it's also been brought up in the Bible and other Dead Sea Scrolls throughout time. And that's, again, body, mind, spirit, and breath. You know, we can't live, we can live without food, we can live without water, we can't live without breathing. And so it really boils down to that. I know you've spoken on this many times, Spira, and the importance of this. And these things are very simple to understand. But again, we're dealing with heavily intellectual beings that are relying on intellect alone to guide them, which I feel is extremely misleading. Rudolf Steiner spoke of this, that the intellectual mind would be a massive detriment to humanity's growth and change because if you rely on a study, if you rely on some sort of I'm waiting to hear something intellectual to make me change my decision, you'll be waiting forever because you can find a justification for anything. But once we understand there's a system of elimination, it's now beyond that. And people, I see it with clients frequently, they struggle to accept that. And
Yeah.
I was one of them. I struggled to accept that. And you made a really good point at the beginning because I had to bring up the bean burrito because I was aware that that was a transitionary item for you. And that I've had clients come from other practitioners in Morse's world that were never given that allowance. They were never given that okay. And when they came to me, they said, "Wait, your website's raw generate, but you're not recommending 100% raw diet." And I said, "No, because raw is ultimately the raw truth of the matter as well. It's like the raw truth of the matter is that your body's stagnated. We need to transition it onto this. And yeah, if you're dealing with this tumor, I may go more aggressively here, and that's a different thing outside of the
Yeah.
transition. Once we're done with that, then we can go back to this transition diet. And sometimes we need to do that depending if the person, the clock's ticking for them. But if they're not, then why would I go and put you in more harm's way? Why would I suggest that? And this is where the lack of some of these practitioners, which is a sad state, Dr. Morse is aware of it, his team is aware of it, and it reflects, he brings it onto himself a lot of the time, like, what am I doing as a teacher here, getting wrong? And I think people overlook, and we discussed this in our first episode a couple of years back, that I've been in some groups since I'm no longer really a part of because I can't deal with it is if you bring in Arnold Ehret, or if I go and tag your Amazon link for your book, it's removed, it's deleted.
Mm.
And I'm there going, wait, what? This is a Dr. Morse group. And I'm like, yeah, but Dr. Morse is a student of Arnold Ehret. He learned
Yeah.
so
He
much from
he
Arnold Ehret.
sells Mucusless diet in his clinic.
Yeah, exactly. And he promotes his practitioners to do further research into the forefathers that paved the way till now. You know, I'm not I'm not going to read Rational Fasting and then go, yeah, great book, but I don't want to do that. My intuition tells me I should do a 40-day water fast. That's ridiculous. You know, oh, because I read something that, Jesus said that, fast every day is a year of your life. So if you're 40 years of age, go and fast. I've seen people do that. They hold fast to that and they cannot be waved off of it, not understanding they've been on medications, stagnating foods that the times of Jesus weren't even exposed to. We got to look at that. That's over 2,000 years ago when he supposedly was around. So, and that's ignoring a rational system. And I think what people can glean from the conversation we're having here is that there's ultimately no rush. That there's once you understand these principles, you can't unknow them. And if you have swayed off down carnivore land, and you still have that knowing, you can always come back because these things can pull you hard. Parasites can take away reason. They can pull you into states of just irrational action ultimately. And you're seeing this in this day and age to such great degree that it's mind blowing. And you mentioned something really amusing about the wiping and not seeing any waste, and that sort of gets me into really. I have the book behind me, but I've lost it. It's the yellow one. It's the paradise of what humanity can be like when out of the world of flesh and mucus and pus forming foods. And I'm aware that there's been cities that have been discovered, old ancient cities that had no sewer systems. That the consumption of meat, when we look into it, Spira has some good videos on this, that we pretty much cannibalism was number one, and then animal sacrifice. And you do some digging into this, and it's pretty dark and messed up what we're seeing. And the fact that there are cities that have no sewer system, that implies one or two things. One, we weren't eating. Sure, could have been breath. We could have been so advanced that it was this prana energy, if you will, or that the food we're eating, which is the more likely one, we weren't eating flesh. You could go to a permaculture place like where I am now. This guy's growing fruit and herbs and vegetables everywhere. You can use the human waste, that of plants that comes out of your body, to fertilize the ground. You can't do that with carnivore feces. Even people that eat meat that work in regenerative practice know that you can't have a highly acidic soil, know that you cannot use carnivore manure, so to speak. Uh, and I think we could go in so many different directions here, but Spira, I think maybe perhaps going into Arnold Ehret's book that you revise and put the yellow one of this. The religious. I've got the title. You
The
can.
physical fitness.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And what this fascinates me in ways beyond intellect. It's more like I wonder and I can see like, wow, if we were living this way, humanity would be in a very different state. And it's my opinion that we were there at one point. We've got a lot of historical records. If there's Hellenic period of the Greeks, there were people that supposedly ate oranges and were living on oranges and figs or oranges and dates, lived a very long period of time. And we've even got modern geneticists talking about the telomeres, just literally that we aren't living as long. And you go, well, why would we not be? Well, look at what we're doing, and what this could look like, and coming out of this stagnation, because it's not only a stagnation of diet and physiology, it's a stagnation of humanity's action, humanity's state of being, and that are we going to see wars and fighting and bombing one another from a mucusless diet? I don't think so, and why that would be so. And if you could expound on that, Spira, that'd be amazing because you've covered that book before. And I believe as well, it's very unknown. We can no longer find a copy of it. You're the only, your revised edition, and it's the yellow cover of a book that looks like this. And a lot of people aren't aware of it. A lot of people aren't aware that Arnold Ehret was speaking of this, but it makes perfect sense why he was.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the most advanced, yeah, the book. So the whole title is a long title,
Yep,
the physical fitness through superior diet, fasting, and dietetics, and also a religious concept of physical, spiritual, and
yep,
mental dietetics. And that is, I mean, that's an amazing. It's advanced. It's an
yep.
advanced book, but it's so just dense with wisdom and just whole. But it creates the vision, or not creates, but elucidates the vision of a rational humanity. What's our species specific diet?
Hmm.
How are we supposed to live and operate?
Hmm.
And what if we did that? There's the Bible, but there's other traditions that have paradise golden age myths or paradise myths. There's the Garden of Eden, but then there's these times when humans didn't die or lived these really long lives, and there wasn't the kind of pain and suffering that we have today. And then oftentimes the fall of humanity is signaled by some kind of eating process, of eating of something. And then now you have the fall, you have the knowledge of good and evil, and that type of thing. To me, that's somebody ate some mucus, or they put their body on a trajectory to where it was going in that direction. And so the way that I interpret, you talk about the Bible, look at Genesis 1:29, that rule still applies.
Yeah.
Our as humans, nothing has changed from the standpoint of like there was hocus pocus and now you're meat eaters. It's like, no, we have the same bodies and physiology at the foundation of Genesis 1:29, eat your food is fruit. Then and this gets people because I'm like, look, 129 says humans are to eat fruit. That's our diet. 130 says that animals are to eat vegetation, to eat the vegetables. So nobody's left out. Humans eat fruit,
Mm.
animals eat vegetables. That's it. Nobody's eating other animals. When you have the crown of creation, which is humans, fall, it throws everything out of balance.
Mm.
So yeah, you'll have animals going crazy, and people will say, "Well, that's natural. They're supposed to eat that." No, and you can find even in our weird pus-drenched world, you can find videos of some of these animal sanctuaries where all the animals and the humans are all living together in harmony, and that
Mm.
kind of thing. And it's like, that reality is there, but it's got to be based on for it to have longevity. It has to be based on a mucus-free existence. It's not going to come out of some type of, it's definitely not going to come out of this carnivore, the
No.
carnivore kind of reality. But
Yeah.
but yeah, now that particular book, yeah, I definitely recommend checking that out if you're ready.
Yeah. Definitely if you're ready, because I think the beauty of it is it shows what where humanity could be outside of where we are now. And the reason why I think it's really helpful is you have group coaching. I'm working on this at the moment as well. And the reason why this is so important with online communities is it's so easy to, it's pretty much you feel alone from the word go because you're doing the opposite of what other people are doing. And that's where it really tests your courage, and it tests your knowing and what you're doing. And when you started off, you'll be doing enemas in public bathrooms if you had to. You'll be doing whatever you do what you need to do. And I think a really great uh, lesson outside of religious groups that even those that are still eating flesh still acknowledge is that courage and faith to do what you know is right. But outside of the diet, outside of those things, the diet is forgotten. That there's this fundamental that has been forgotten, and which is almost the most common sense. But it's why nothing is really changing, because there's this stagnation still lost in, oh no, we have dominion over the animals, somehow believing that dominion means slaughter. And it means to consume. And I really felt when I read that book, just like when I read the Essene Gospel, that it gave me, even though there weren't as many people doing the transition diet, looking at mucusless foods, and you have discussions with people that are supposedly open and aware with things, but the next thing they say, do you want to go fishing, or do you want to go and do this? And then you're going, oh, I don't do that actually, man. Or do you want to go drink and go to the pub? I don't do that. When you read these words, it hits something deeper in you that, well, this is where we're going, and this is why I'm not going to be pulled off the wagon, though you may fall off the wagon at times. Books like that, they really, I think, strike a chord of the bigger picture of where we're going, and I think that's a beautiful thing to just have an awareness of, and a knowing of, well, this is where this is going. It's not a means to an end. It's an uplifting of humanity, and I believe we spoke last time about people's reasons for doing this. People get very me focused. Like, I'm doing this, it's me, blah blah blah. And you go, whoa, whoa, whoa. wait a minute, it's beyond actually you.
Hmm.
And I've seen this, I've used this angle with clients, which has helped them a lot. They might not give a toss about how their health is. They might not care, but they want to see their kids grow up. They want to see their kids graduate. They want to see whatever it is. It's generally to do with their kids or family. And that's really the fundamental reason is as we get cleaner on an emotional level, a spiritual level, and a physical level, our kids and their kids aren't going to have McDonald's and KFC around. They're not going to be in a group with people discussing those things or having discussions from a frequency of consuming flesh. Where a big problem in Australia is the drinking and barbecue culture. It pretty much is the breath of this country,
Mm.
and it's people just assume if you're a male that you're going to be doing that. They go, oh
Right,
yeah, young
right.
guys doing this, and no, like that's not what we're doing here. And books like that, though they are advanced, uh, I've seen them be a great remedy to keep people on track as well when they lose their way, other than listening to conversations like this or other people's testimonials and just being reminded again, because at the end of the day, there are forces pulling you in the opposite direction of where you want to go, because the world isn't currently conducive of your healing and of your betterment. It's the polar opposite of that, and it's very apparent. You don't really need any study for that. You just go outside into an average town, and you'll see exactly what's going on. Um, and that I feel is a great rounding off of of why the transition diet's so important. Because when we look at the transition as a humanity, we're no longer just looking at me in the next 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, the rest of my life, however many years, but we're looking at, well, then when my kids, when I'm gone, I've brought them up in this way and they've got friends and family doing this, and the conversation's changed. What we're consuming has changed. How is that going to look in 2, 3 generations? And then we can see the detoxification or the releasing of generational trauma through food. Like, do you come from a background of hunting and men hunt and we do this, and you're only a man if you do this, or you're only a good person, or you've only lived if you've done X, Y, and Z, and you need to have skinned an animal, and you need to eat meat to become a man, put hair on your chest, whatever the dialogue is, and that now that's not even a concept, and it can be a very foreign idea for people because uh, I see it time and time again, often with female clients. Most of my clients are female because it tends to be that women somehow care more about their health than males. But I've seen that men actually do. They just think they're not cool, or that it's not okay for them to do that. But people with partners, one of them's on a carnivore, eating, drinking, pies and whatnot, and then they're over here going, I want to get rid of my problems, and I found the Mucusless Diet Healing System. I found raw foods. I found the pros of sweet potato and baked fruit and veg. And I want to be doing
Right.
this. But the person I'm with, like, we have to let go of a lot of things. We can choose to see how we can contend with that, but at the end of the day, things are frequencies, and if these people are pulling you away, there's going to be a shedding that's going to happen, and maybe that's happened to you, Spira, that there have been things that have fallen by the wayside that no longer mattered anymore.
Oh,
That
well,
I
I
bet
mean, almost, most things.